Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have USDA employee busted for stealing $66 million in food stamps, which is quite a bit to say the least, though statistically speaking, not as much as we usually waste on food stamps. I was curious, so I brought up the data, or more accurately, I asked Grok for the data analysis, or just queried it, and I wonder how much we spend per year on food stamps in the United States. Now, they say, again, this is according to Grok, the AI from Twitter, or X, he says, quote, in fiscal year 2023, the United States spent approximately $112.8 billion on Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, commonly called food stamps, which is insanity. $112.8 billion? That is unsustainable and one of the contributing variables of why the U.S. is so bankrupt. Yeah, the amount of corruption in food stamps is insanity. And the amount of people who rip off the program for a lifetime is even more disheartening. Now, going to the main actual tweet that went viral, this is brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, 6 people, including a USDA employee, busted in a $66 million food stamp fraud scheme. Arlasa Davis, a USDA employee responsible for identified stamp fraud, ironic, that's a little irony right there, sold hundreds of EBT numbers, enabling over 36 million in fraudulent SNAP redemptions at unauthorized stores. Michael Koyoni, K-E-H-O-E, I can't pronounce that. Cow? You know me, I can only pronounce half the things on here properly. Reportedly orchestrated a network that supplied the approximate 160 unauthorized EBT terminals to stores across New York area to illegally process more than 30 million EBT transactions. This is one of the largest food stamp frauds in history, which, in terms of their LinkedIn profile, they're a lazy government employee when they only have 3 connections and no activity in the past 90 days. It's like 3 connections. I guess a typical government employee, she's done that job for 38 years in 1 month. Lord only knows how long she was stealing. She also has an interesting combo. Looks like she has a resemblance of a suit in her profile picture. Her names are I usually don't purposely try to butcher these names. Arlasa Davis. She does have interesting red hair. African-American woman. Then here's the actual release. So much fraud. New York, I'll never forget Mayor Johnson. New York has a brand. It certainly does. Now, I don't know why. This only got about 50,000 views. Again, one of the biggest issues in the United States is how much we waste on food stamps. And how much of it is not good. How much of it isn't actually helping people. But I would argue more accurately, creating long-time dependence on the government, so they vote for bigger and bigger government. Now, again, it's only got about 50,000 views and 7.6 thousand likes. One of the first comments, well, I'm a little biased. This one comes from someone who's especially handsome and brilliant. Me, the topping show, in which I say, quote, typical leftist corruption, we need to cancel all the government handouts and start from the ground up, or better yet, have local churches and communities help people and tax us less. Getting 8 likes, which I would argue is all about quality, not quantity. Or Trump would say probably, Topping got the best likes. It wasn't the most, but they're the best people like him always on the X and the Twitter and the YouTube and even the Rumble. Now you also have Meme Wars saying, Grok, can you make a person in the image above into a spicy red tomato? Which, I don't know why, but it's, I guess, mildly entertaining they did that. Got 36 likes. The Undercurrent said, quote, 38 years on the payroll to rob the pantry she was hired to protect. This wasn't fraud. It was an organization theft with a government badge. Roll every name and seize every asset. Gain 511 likes, going up like a stock. You also have the Facts Dude saying, quote, I'm going to say it, typical suspect, getting 183 likes. RJ simply says, I'm shocked. And they have a screenshot of her profile picture on the screen there. The Volt says, quote, liberals on X, once they receive the daily DNC talking points. And it's a bunch of robots that looks like, a bunch of those robots getting 34 likes. Let's see. Vine says, this is the reason Democrats are fighting so hard to keep their fraudulent activities going on, getting 26 likes as well. David Santa Clara says, let me save everyone a little time here. And he just did a giant screenshot of her profile picture, getting 390 likes. Paul Zazupa says, quote, this is the kind of fraud President Trump has been going after. It's the same fraud that Democrats have been trying to hide, getting 14 likes. Versa says, quote, 66 million. That's a lot of food and housing that could have been used for homeless veterans, getting 154 likes. Tired of being politically correct, says, quote, she has been working for the USAID for 38 years. Something is telling me this is the tip of the iceberg, getting 86 likes. Yep. The AU man says, is anyone else seeing the pattern of who is involved with all this theft in the government? Getting 46 likes. Keaton Hobby says, quote, we need to shrink these bloated programs, crack down on the fraud, and stop trusting bureaucrats to handle our money, lock them up and seize every penny they stole. Getting 73 likes. Although, again, she's a government employee, so if I were to guess her fate, they're going to give her paid time off and then probably slap on the wrist. Because there's no one that's held less accountable than government employees. If this is a private sector, she'd be sued or she'd be fired like that and sued, try to recoup some of that money back. But again, I don't think, maybe that's why this isn't going as viral. It's because no one's really surprised. It's just more government corruption and more theft from us because it's our tax dollars that fuel all this, and also money we borrow from China. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.